on to the World Health, Fitness and Wellness Week organized by the Fit Summit. Today we are joined together by the President of International Sports Science Association, shortly known as ISSA, Andrew Wyant. Hi Andrew, how have you been?
I am fantastic, Sarah. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
I've been great. It's a Monday morning here, and I know it's a Sunday night there. So thank you so much for doing this interview for us and for all the attendees watching this. I just want to dive in straight away to the first question, Andrew. Is it possible for you to describe how the last 12 months has been for you in a few sentences?
Absolutely. I find that when people start talking about COVID and they start talking about the pandemic, most everyone talks about how it's been this incredible disruptive force. And there's been this incredible transformation in the fitness industry. And I think that the last 12 months have been that. They've been a disruption and an incredible transformation. Because we're an online education company and the world very quickly shifted to much more of an online focus, we were really at the forefront. And so we were able to help people in the fitness industry advance their education and their careers in the face of really a difficult period for most everyone.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for giving me such a short and sharp answer on how the past 12 months has been for you. ISSA has tripled in size, and now you guys are expanding globally. How have you achieved this given the current events happening?
I think that we're very lucky to be in the position that we're in along the entirety of the fitness industry. And ironically, we've more than tripled. We're now 5 times larger than we were just 3 years ago. ISSA is a 33-year-old company, but what we did differently and what we did that helped us grow is we looked very deeply at how can we help our students be most successful. And so as the pandemic began, and even before that, we first said, do enough people know about fitness and personal training as a potential career? And so we answered that question by saying, no, we need to really advance the cause of personal training. We need to advertise and promote to draw new people into this industry. And then the second question was, are fitness professionals fully trained? Are they as expert as they can be to really get great results with their clients? And so what we found is that we needed to spend much more time, energy, and resources on the success of our students. And so that's where we invested. We invested in student success.
That's great, Andrew, the way you answered the question. I mean, I like the part, especially when you mentioned that you invest in your students' success, and I love that. So thank you for sharing that. Moving on to the next question. How important is it for business leaders to keep a growth mindset front of mind, even though the crisis has hit them badly or during these tough times?
It probably sounds almost trite to say that there's never a time when it's more important to keep a growth mindset than when you're faced with a crisis that is causing things to shrink. And so if you allow yourself to go into a shrinking mindset, then it's self-perpetuating. It will continue to drive you into failure instead of success. And so as the leader, when you're faced with a crisis and there is an external event or a function happens, that's the time when you really have to double down. You have to invest even more energy and more of your time in what does the future look like. You have to answer the question of today. How do we survive today? What do we need to do right now? But if you lose sight that the growth is what's important, then your business will be doomed.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for answering that. I think that's a very important question, and the way you answered it, I really, really liked it, because how you mentioned about having the growth mindset in these times is the most important. So thanks for sharing that. Moving on to a bit more technical kind of questions, what trends do you notice throughout this pandemic around content, like sports and fitness content?
I love this question because there are 3 real layers to this. The first was everyone was forced to look at what does online look like. what does online training, what does online coaching, what does communication look like when we were sent away from our offices to work remotely? So we all had to think about our cameras and our lighting and our backgrounds, and we had to learn about that. And so for the fitness community and the larger community, the first trend in content was around how do I work remotely and how do I build and maintain connections with others? How do I have relationships with people when I can't be with them directly? The second trend in content was really around health as wealth. And so when people started to think about the comorbidities of obesity and the problems with heart disease and lung problems related to the pandemic, there was an enormous demand for content about what can I do to help create a hedge of protection around myself so that I can be healthier. And then the third trend was really around how can I have fitness be more outdoors? How can I place myself into whether they be body weight exercises at home or whether they be outdoor exercises that I can gather in groups. And so those three trends, I think, really came very strongly in 2020 and then somewhat into 2021.
Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I realized that a lot of your trends that you mentioned were related to prognosis and, how can I stay healthy? How can I be better, during this pandemic time? So it's a very interesting content area where a lot of people are focusing on. So thanks for sharing that. Are digital and e-learning here to stay? If so, to what degree?
So I think it's certain that it's here to stay. And I think that it will continue to evolve and grow because it's never the same as being in person. And I don't believe that it is a replacement for in person, but I believe that it's additive. It allows us to gather in larger groups and be more efficient and effective with our time. I would love to see that the online meeting is something that is here and it stays. But if I went from 100% online to prior to that, I was probably 1% online. I would love it if it was closer to 30 or 40% online. And then the rest of the time I was flying to Singapore and I was visiting with you directly there in person.
I love that answer, Andrew. I really wish I was doing this interview live with you as well. Soon, the world seems like slowly recovering. By next year, when we're doing this event again, I hope to see you and I hope to do this interview live to live, face to face, I mean. Moving on to the next question. With the merging of fitness, wellness, and health all together in one ecosystem, will tomorrow's content be more focused or wide-ranging? Like, where does the future of content lie for ISSA?
That's a great question because over the last 12 months, we introduced 12 new certifications. So we introduced a certification in indoor cycling and in using DNA test results to help people come up with better programming for their clients. And so I think that it's not that there's limitless additional content and areas to focus on, but I think that the emergence of being an online coach means that personal trainers and fitness professionals will need to think more like health coaches. And so I think that the trend that I would look for is the intersection of medical fitness, online coaching, and how can I be most effective to interact with clients around the world, whether it be my platform or my technology and tools, wearable devices. How can I be effective as an individual coaching and getting great results from people?
I love how you answered that question, Andrew. It's not only about you being able to describe this very beautiful, but it's about the fact that you mentioned about how we have to move from just, being a fitness, just having a medical certification or a certificate and moving on to become a holistic educator. So you gotta upgrade yourself and being an online coach, connecting with them via the wearables and also, being able to be a wellness coach. So I like that whole holistic education that a trainer or a coach has to bring for their clients. Moving on to the next question, how much should businesses now be investing in the training and development of their trainers, coaches, and staff?
So I don't want to sound self-serving by saying you should invest heavily in additional certifications and they should be from ISSA. What I would say is that when you think about the interaction with a client from an in-person basis, if I owned a gym, what I would be really thinking about now is how can I make the experience for my member or for my student, customer, whatever it might be, how do I make that membership experience the best it can be? And what I've seen is that for every additional certification that a personal trainer earns, as they level themselves up in their careers, they become better at connecting and being more empathetic and being able to understand their clients and help them on their journey. And so when a client is presented to you and they're completely deconditioned and you're starting from this level of not much in the way of fitness and they have a vision for where they want to be, I think that the only way that you as a gym owner can be really successful is to have really great people, because it's not about the equipment alone.
It's great that you answered that question, Andrew, because I liked how, it was like level of investment equals to quality of content being brought out by trainers. Obviously, it varies because like what you said, to reach your clients to an end goal, you have to have qualified coach, qualified professionals. And that obviously involves a level of investment. Thanks for beautifully putting it together. Moving to the second last question, what key challenges remains to be solved in ensuring the growth, the continuous growth of the certification and education world, like budget, priority, ROI, internal champions?
That's a really great and deep question. So instead of taking 2 hours to answer that, which might not even be enough, what I'll say is this. For ISSA, much of what we see as the way in which we want to engage in the world is we want to make sure that the international part of our name is really brought to life. And so we are now working with a distributor in Singapore, and we're working with one in Hong Kong. And we've had a very long-term relationship with Gold's Gym in Egypt. And so as I think about the challenge and investment, one is to make sure that we're ensuring the same student success for people all around the world, that we are matching people, whether it be with language, whether it be with the ways in which people want to learn. If they want to learn in a hybrid fashion where somewhat is in person and somewhat is remote. And so the key challenge is for us is to invest properly to help all of those people who are interested in fitness and all of those people who want to help businesses in fitness grow. Because if I were to boil down ISSA's mission, what I would say is that I want to inspire everyone to help anyone enjoy a better life through fitness.
Inspire everyone and anyone to be the best in their fitness. That's the final message that I got through your interview. So thank you for sharing that. Final question is an interesting one, which I feel like you've already answered, but I would love to hear, which is like, what one word, or maybe if I could tease you a bit to say a quote, will hopefully describe ISSA's next 12 months?
I'm not sure I could boil it down to one word, but what I really believe is that the paintings behind me were painted by our team, and they were painted among our 4 core values. And the one that's over here says prioritize personal connections, and this one says share wellness. And so if I could boil it down, I want to share wellness with the world. I want to help people enjoy fitness. And in order to do that, to build a great and successful business, I have to make sure that the gym owners of the world, that the personal trainers of the world, that they have the right education, the right tools, the right resources, and that they're in a position to be able to get success from their members. And so if my job is to help a gym owner be more successful, then that's what I want to do. So 12 months from now, we will have made more gym owners more successful because we prioritize personal connections and we were sharing wellness.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for actually patiently answering all our questions. You were short, you were sharp, you were to the point. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. Do you have any final words to wrap up for our attendees watching this?
I am incredibly grateful to all of the attendees for being involved in this Fit Summit. And I am so excited to be able to be there in person with you all next year.
Thank you, Andrew, for joining us. Thank you, audience, for watching this interview. Thank you.